In the Imola pit lane, Ferrari debuted their much-anticipated upgrade package for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, which the Scuderia hopes to use to challenge Red Bull. After the Australian Grand Prix, in which Carlos Sainz drove Ferrari to a 1-2 finish, Red Bull began to realise that Ferrari was their most formidable opponent in Formula 1 2024. After getting a taste of the new components during a filming day at their Fiorano test circuit last week, the prancing horse have arrived to Imola, the first of two F1 2024 races held in Italy. They are armed with the team's first big upgrade package of the new season. Following Ferrari's trial of the FIA's most recent iteration of the spray guard concept, added to improve driver visibility in rain, came that shakedown. It is believed that Ferrari will be able to more consistently challenge Red Bull with the overhaul, which includes changes to the side pod inlets, floor, and rear wing. Sainz said at Thursday's FIA news conference in Imola that the development race between Ferrari, Red Bull, and McLaren will likely stay track-specific. Not only that, but he has been vocal about how the team has to fix the car's flaws after being dissatisfied with its performance in China last month, when Ferrari's perfect podium run came to an end. Carlos Sainz declared to media on Friday that Miami was a better suited track for our car and we had really good pace, even though McLaren and Red Bull were maybe half a step in front. Our car felt back to normal, while in China in particular it felt really not good, so I think we're going to be very track dependent, and hopefully Imola is one of those good tracks for us and we can put on a good show in front of the crowd. This would be the ideal scenario. For the rest of the season, we're going to need to keep developing for tracks like China, because there are certain types of corner where our car really struggles right now, and we need to keep moving forward in that sense. In the last two Grand Prix races, teams from Red Bull and McLaren had beaten the Maranello squad. Regardless, Frederic Vasseur pointed out that the margins in Miami were modest. Despite not having the updates, we were close to McLaren and Red Bull and we had a good pace this weekend. While Vasseur is trying to keep expectations under check, Ferrari is bullish about the new parts. We are at a point in the development of these machines where the updates do not lead to a huge leap in performance. He is cognizant of the fact that competing squads will not sit idly by. It's true that this year we are all closer. Gaining even just a few tenths thanks to the changes can make the difference. Even though the Ferrari has had some upgrades for Imola, according to Vasseur, the field is now so close that a tenth of a second in qualifying may be the difference between first and second place. Two of our competitors brought parts this weekend, and it was not a game changer at the end of the day, he stated in Miami. I think we have a kind of some thought into the development of this current car, and when we are bringing something, it's never a mega upgrade. It's true that when you are in quali and you have 4 or 5 cars in 1/10, if you bring 1/10, it's a game changer for the weekend. But a large part of the result is coming also from what we are doing with the drivers and the setup of the car during the weekend, the management of the tyres. We don't have to think only about upgrades and development, it's also the job that we are doing on track. After Ferrari announced that Xavi Marcos has been removed, Charles Leclerc began working with a new Formula 1 race engineer from Imola forward, driven by a desire for impact. They had been partners since Leclerc's 2019 Ferrari debut, but Xavier Marcos, fondly known as Xavi, has left for a different division at Ferrari, while Brian Boz, Leclerc's performance engineer, assumes the position of race engineer. Leclerc was asked by the media how big of a risk this transition is, given that it comes mid-season and Ferrari is bringing a highly enhanced SF24 to combat against Red Bull and McLaren. Imola will be the first test of the relationship between Leclerc and Boz. However, Leclerc refuted such viewpoint by maintaining that he is not starting from zero with Boz, and that he wants them to perform at 100% in Imola. Obviously, it's very, very tight in the front, and everything makes a difference. However, the decision was made between the team and Xavi, Leclerc began. They've had other plans in mind, I guess, and it was communicated to me right after Miami. But having said that, Brian, that will take the role of Xavi from now onwards, is a person I have been working with since I arrived in Ferrari. He's always been my performance engineer, so he knows exactly how everything works, and it's not like I'm starting from zero, and that is going to be a complete adaptation. It's been super smooth until now, and I'm sure that it will continue that way, and that we'll be at our 100% already from this weekend. Xavi gained fame as Leclerc's race engineer for his unconventional radio communications, Nonetheless, even during the Chinese Grand Prix, Leclerc was confused by his "try original line turns 7 and 8 for comparison" message. After that, someone questioned Leclerc if the purpose of the race engineer change was to improve communication. Leclerc denied that Xavi had communication issues. "I think communication has always been a big thing since we worked with Xavi," said Leclerc. "But we always try and communicate as much as possible, and this is the way I work, to try and have the best picture overall. So yeah, as I said, I think we're focused on having the smoothest transition possible, and then we'll focus on the things that matter to us. But I don't think it was a particular problem in the past." Ferrari is making several changes to the team. Besides getting people out, they are bringing new forces from major teams as well. Jerome D'Ambrosio, who was Toto Wolff's effective deputy at Mercedes, has joined Ferrari as a deputy team principal and head of the Formula One Driver Academy. Loic Serra, who was formerly the performance director at Mercedes, has been confirmed as Ferrari's new head of chassis performance engineering. Vasseur hasn't had much help since Mekies became RB team principal, and veteran Ferrari engineer and Charles Leclerc's driver coach, Jock Clear, doesn't have enough time to devote to the Ferrari Driver Academy. D'Ambrosio must take these roles seriously if he can have a notable impact on the field, and if Serra can bring the same technical prowess to Ferrari as he did at Mercedes, Vasseur will have a dangerous pair on his hands. When 7-time Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton signs with Ferrari in 2025, the two will also be back together. A huge, but aside from that, Red Bull could take a serious hit if Ferrari manages to sign Adrian Newey, who is leaving. The top designer has expressed remorse for his time spent working with Hamilton and Ferrari, so it stands to reason that this, Ferrari's fourth effort to sign him, will be unsuccessful. In 2014, Ferrari CEO Luca Di Montezemolo sent an amazing offer to Newey to join the organisation, following his admiration of Red Bull and Newey's accomplishments. This was the final time Ferrari attempted this. "Luca wanted to give me the whole Ferrari operation, road and race car," Newey claimed. "The promise was of an almost film star lifestyle and the most ridiculously large financial offer, well over double the already generous salary I was receiving at Red Bull." However, Newey admitted, "I just didn't want to leave Red Bull." He stayed with the squad till 2021 when they won back-to-back titles. Once again, they are currently at the top of both competitions after 2 more title doubles. And while Red Bull was anxious to stress Newey's intention to take a break after almost 20 years with the firm, the timing of his leaving is notable. He will become a free agent at the start of the next season, providing him the possibility to build a car under F1's new 2026 regulations. Naturally, Ferrari has not indicated if it is seeking to gain his services, but it seems like a lot of the factors that used to differentiate these two massive F1 companies aren't relevant anymore. What do you think? It's Ferrari becoming step by step the new major power in Formula One. Let us know in the comments down below.